let me tell you something that most people won't dare say out loud. No one is coming to save you. Not the government, not your boss, not your parents, not your partner. No magical moment is going to land in your lap and change your life for you. And I get it, that might sound harsh, maybe even unfair. But I didn't come here today to tell you what feels good. I came to tell you what sets you free. You've been waiting for the right time, the right person, the right opportunity. But deep down, you know the truth. The clock is ticking, life is moving, and no one is coming. That's not the problem, that's the beginning of your power. Because once you stop waiting to be rescued, you can start building the life you were meant to live. You become the rescuer, the builder, the fire starter. Today isn't about blame, it's about breakthrough. If you're sick of feeling stuck, if you're ready to trade excuses for execution, then lean in, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share with you, these 6 keys, they are not theories. They are the blueprint to fix your life. Not someday. Yeah. So if you're ready to stop hoping and start leading yourself, then let's go. This is your wake-up call. Let me ask you something straight up. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and took full responsibility for your life? I'm not talking about saying, yeah, I made some mistakes. I mean owning everything. Your energy, your choices, your results, your reality. That level of ownership, that's the line that separates people who wish for a better life from people who build one. The moment you decide that your life is yours, not your parents, not your bosses, not society's, is the moment you finally stop being a prisoner of your past and start becoming the architect of your future. It's the most liberating thing you can do, and yet most people spend their whole life waiting for someone to give them permission, waiting for the pain to stop, waiting for clarity, waiting for someone to step in and change things. But let me break it to you gently and truthfully, no one is coming. This isn't about blame, it's about power. As long as you're pointing your finger outward, saying they did this to me or I can't because of them, you've given them the keys to your life. But when you take radical ownership, when you say I created this and I can change it, that's when everything shifts. That's when the fire inside you starts burning hotter than the world around you. Now look, I'm not saying it's your fault if someone hurt you or life threw you a curveball. We've all had moments that weren't fair or situations we didn't choose. But how long are you going to let what happened to you define what happens through you? That's the real question. Ownership doesn't mean guilt, it means control. It means even if I didn't start it, I'll finish it. Even if I didn't choose it, I'll rise above it. Most people are walking around powerless because they're still waiting for the world to treat them better before they believe in themselves. But life doesn't work like that. The world reflects what you accept. If you accept average, you'll get average. If you accept excuses, you'll get more reasons to stay stuck. But if you say enough, I don't need perfect conditions, I need a decision, then you start becoming the kind of person who doesn't wait for change, you create it. There's something unshakable about a person who owns everything. People feel it. They trust it. Because you're not trying to escape responsibility, you crave it. Why? Because you know on the other side of ownership is your freedom. You can't lead a life you don't own. And if you want to change your story, you have to own the pen. So stop giving away your power. No one else is responsible for your health, your mindset, your money, your peace. That's your job, that's your gift, that's your wake-up call. Because the truth is, the day you stop waiting to be saved is the day you start saving yourself. You've been told to chase comfort your whole life. Stay safe, play it smart, don't rock the boat. And where has that gotten you? Stuck, unfulfilled. Living a version of your life that looks good on the outside but feels hollow on the inside. Let me tell you something that most people don't want to hear. Comfort is the enemy. It's the silent killer of dreams. The moment you start prioritizing comfort over growth is the moment you start dying a slow death while you're still breathing. Growth lives in discomfort. It lives in the mornings you don't feel like getting up but do anyway. It lives in the difficult conversations you keep avoiding. It lives in the risk you're afraid to take, the new path that scares the hell out of you. That's where your edge is. That's where your real life begins. But too many people wait for some magical force to come along and motivate them before they act. Motivation? Let's be real. Motivation is fleeting. It's unreliable. It shows up once in a while, but if you're depending on it, you're already behind. You don't need motivation. You need movement. You need a decision. You need to act even when it doesn't feel good, especially when it doesn't feel good. The truth is, your brain is wired to protect you. It's designed to keep you alive, not fulfilled. It whispers, stay safe. Don't take risks. Don't feel pain. And if you listen to that voice long enough, it becomes your reality. But listen, avoiding pain isn't freedom. It's just another form of control. Growth, transformation, power. They all require pressure. Just like muscles grow from resistance, your character is forged in the moments you want to quit, but don't. Stop making the mistake of thinking that the easy road will lead to a fulfilling life. It won't. It never has. The easy road only leads to regret. The hard road, the one that requires effort, sacrifice, commitment, that's the road that gives you strength. That's the road that gives you pride. That's the road that turns you into someone you respect when no one else is watching. You've got to start leaning into discomfort, not avoiding it. Because every time you choose discomfort over ease, you build momentum. You build muscle, mental, emotional, spiritual. That's how you level up. That's how you separate yourself from the masses sleepwalking through their lives. You want a breakthrough? You want real change? Then you better be willing to feel the burn, to sweat, to stretch, to be tired, and do it anyway. That's where your greatness is hiding. So don't run from discomfort, run toward it. Make it your ally, because every single time you step into what's uncomfortable, you take back control. You stop being a prisoner of your feelings, and you start being the leader of your life. You can stay comfortable, or you can change, but you can't do both. Every single person in this room is living a life that reflects one thing: your standards. Not your goals, not your wishes, not your vision board, your standards, what you're willing to tolerate, accept, and settle for. That's the real thermostat of your life. You can talk all day long about what you want, but if your standards don't back it up, it's just noise. You want to change your life? Raise your standards, period. See, people get confused. They think success is about having big dreams. No, it's about having non-negotiables. It's about deciding that certain behaviors, certain outcomes, certain levels of effort are simply not optional anymore. That you won't sleepwalk through your job. That you won't keep carrying dead weight in your relationships. That you won't wake up one more day feeling like a prisoner in your own body, your own mind. That's the shift. That's the edge where transformation happens. And I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about deciding that you are no longer available for average. That word, average, should make your skin crawl, because average means just enough to get by. Average means you're living by default, not design. If you want extraordinary, it doesn't start with luck. It starts with deciding that you will no longer settle for less than what you know deep down you're capable of. Look at your life right now. Look at your health, your finances, your relationships, your energy. Every one of those areas is a reflection of your standards. If you're always tired, that's a standard issue. If you're surrounded by people who drain you instead of fuel you, that's a standard issue. If you're constantly stressed about money, that's a standard issue. And the moment you stop blaming circumstances and start adjusting your standards, everything changes. Because here's what happens when you raise your standards. You start acting like the person who lives at that level. You don't even have to try to motivate yourself. When your standards are high enough, certain things become automatic. Discipline becomes normal. Focus becomes natural. Quitting, not even on the table. Why? Because that behavior doesn't fit your identity anymore. And yes, you'll lose people when you raise your standards. You'll lose excuses. You'll lose habits. You'll lose versions of yourself that were attached to comfort and fear and procrastination. But what you gain is power, clarity, momentum. You gain a life that reflects who you really are, not the watered down version you've been pretending to be. So stop asking for permission. Stop hoping things will change on their own. They won't. Life isn't waiting to give you more until you prove you can handle what you've got. And the way you prove it is by demanding more from yourself, raising the bar, refusing to tolerate anything that doesn't align with the life you know you're here to live. Because you don't get what you want, you get what you tolerate. You've got a voice in your head that shows up every single day. You know the one I'm talking about. That voice that whispers, just sleep in a little longer. Skip the workout. It's just one day. You've earned a break. Don't push so hard. It sounds comforting. It sounds reasonable. It even sounds like it has your best interest at heart. But let me tell you something that will shift your entire life. That voice is not your friend. That voice is your weakness negotiating with your potential. And if you keep listening to it, it will steal everything you were meant to become. You have to stop giving that voice a seat at the table. You have to stop negotiating with it like it has a valid opinion. Because every time you do, you chip away at your confidence. You chip away at your power. That part of you that wants to take the easy way, avoid pain, skip the discipline. That part isn't interested in your growth. It just wants you to stay safe, stay small, stay stuck. But let's get real. How long are you going to let that voice run your life? You already know what needs to be done. You already know what's out of alignment. You don't need more information. You need activation. You need to become the kind of person who hears that voice and moves anyway. You feel the resistance, and instead of backing down, you rise, you lead, you execute. Because the truth is, you're always negotiating, either with your greatness or with your weakness. One of them wins every single day. And it's not just in the big moments. It's in the small ones. The moment you choose to scroll instead of study. The moment you eat what you said you wouldn't. The moment you promise yourself tomorrow, but deep down, you know you're lying. That's where the battle is. Not when the lights are on and everyone's watching. It's in the quiet, daily decisions that either build your destiny or bury it. You want to start winning? Then you've got to stop negotiating. Burn the backup plan. Kill the escape route. Decide who you are and don't argue with yourself about it. That version of you that gets things done, that shows up with discipline, that follows through when it's hard, they already exist. You just keep silencing them with excuses and distractions and comfort. It's time to take your power back, to stop engaging with the version of you that settles. Because the moment you stop giving energy to your excuses, you start giving energy to your evolution. And that's what this is about. It's not about perfection, it's about alignment. About becoming the kind of person who does what they said they would do, no matter how they feel in the moment. Starve your weakness, feed your discipline, and never negotiate with your lower self again. Here's the hard truth. Motivation is a liar. It's inconsistent. It shows up when it wants to, not when you need it. You can't build your life on something that disappears the second things get uncomfortable. And yet, that's what most people do. They wait to feel ready. They wait for inspiration, for some perfect burst of energy to come along and push them into action. But success doesn't come from motivation, it comes from mindset. A mindset that outlasts the highs and lows. A mindset that shows up on the days you don't feel like it. Let me be real with you. Your feelings are not facts. They're just impulses, temporary emotional states. And if you let them drive the car, you'll crash every single time. Because there will be days when you're tired, discouraged, overwhelmed. That's life. But if you've built a rock-solid mindset one that's rooted in clarity and purpose and discipline, those days won't break you. Because instead of reacting, you lead yourself. You don't need hype. You need structure. You need standards. You need rituals that lock you in, even when your emotions try to pull you out. That's why discipline matters. It's the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. And discipline isn't something you wait for, it's something you create by making decisions based on your values, not your moods. You see, when your mindset is solid, your actions become predictable in a good way. You stop being ruled by external chaos. You stop chasing quick wins and start building long-term mastery. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, who am I becoming if I do this? That's the shift. That's the level where the real transformation happens. And I'm telling you right now, the most dangerous belief you can hold is thinking you need to feel inspired in order to take action. You don't. You just need to remember what you're fighting for. You need to connect to your why. And once that becomes clear, your daily actions become non-negotiable. Because this isn't about motivation anymore, it's about identity. You don't just do hard things, you become the kind of person who does hard things. That's who you are now. You want peace? Build structure. You want confidence? Keep promises to yourself. You want freedom? Embrace the discipline that leads to it. That's how winners are built, not in the spotlight, but in the quiet moments when no one's watching and you still choose to show up. So stop chasing motivation like it's some magic bullet. Build the mindset that doesn't flinch when things get tough. The mindset that says, I'm in this no matter what. Because when the storm hits, and it always will, it's not the hype that keeps you standing. It's the foundation you built long before the winds ever came. Let's cut through the noise. At some point, you've got to stop waiting, stop wishing, stop hoping someone else is going to show up and do the work for you. That person you're waiting for, the one who's finally going to make things better, who's going to change your circumstances, pull you out of the mess, lift you up, that person isn't coming. You are the one you've been waiting for. You are the hero of this story. And it's time to start living like it. It's easy to believe that someone out there has the answer, that once you find the right book, the right mentor, the right partner, everything will finally fall into place. But nothing changes until you change. Nothing moves until you move. Your life isn't broken because you're missing something. It's waiting for you to rise up and take command. And that starts with a decision, not a half-hearted one, a real one, the kind you make with your chest, with your soul, where you draw a line in the sand and say, I'm done living small. I'm done waiting. I lead now. Because here's what most people never realize. You don't need someone to give you permission to take control of your life. You've always had it. You were just scared. You let fear disguise itself as logic. You let pain become your identity. You let the past write your future. But you are not your past. You are not your pain. You are the one who gets to decide what happens next. And when you step into that role, not as the victim, not as the spectator, but as the leader, everything begins to shift. That version of you that's strong, focused, clear, unstoppable, they already live inside you. They're just buried underneath years of stories and doubt and delay. You don't have to become someone new. You have to remember who you were before the world convinced you to settle. That's the work. That's the breakthrough. And it doesn't happen someday. It happens the moment you stop giving your power away and say, I'm done waiting. I move now. You want to be rescued? Rescue yourself. Show up for yourself. Be the one who changes the pattern, breaks the cycle, rewrites the script. Your friends might not get it. Your family might not support it. The world might not notice. That's okay. This isn't about proving something to others. It's about proving something to you, that you are capable, that you are powerful, that you don't need to be saved. You need to rise. Because when you stop looking for the hero and become the hero, everything changes. You stop chasing strength and start walking in it. You stop waiting for the light and realize you are the light. No one is coming to save you because the hero is already here.